Welcome to the DTC Insider Podcast, where online business owners come to find actionable tips and tactics to grow their businesses. Now, here's your host, Brian Roisentul.
Real quick before we continue with the episode, let me tell you something. If you own or work for a DTC brand and you're not hitting your revenue and profitability goals, you're not alone. Things are getting harder, and what used to work doesn't anymore. That's why it's important to find a business-oriented partner that's focused on improving the levers that will change the game for your business. And believe me, it is possible. At BSR Digital, to give you an example, we have recently helped our clients generate between, listen well, 80 and 700K in extra monthly revenue. If you'd like to explore how we could do the same for you and your business, head on over to bsrdigital.com and book a call with us. Hey, welcome to another episode. I'm going to cover today two metrics that are typically overlooked by most brands that the most successful ones are obsessed about. I interview a lot of successful brands here on the pod, and we work with many others at BSR Digital, my agency. And what I learned by digging which metrics many of them are obsessed about, I was surprised to find these two. Is it ROAS? No. Is it, I don't know, the ad spend or the number of orders? It's not. It's basically the CAC to LTV ratio and the CAC payback period. The CAC to LTV ratio and the CAC payback period. If you're wondering what the CAC or LTV is, well, just in case for anyone in the audience who doesn't know, let me clarify in under 2 seconds. The CAC is the cost to acquire a customer, and the LTV is the customer lifetime value, right? So the CAC to LTV ratio should be a healthy one for each brand, right? And if you don't know how to calculate that, let's change that now. And just a heads ups, there are going to be a little math or numbers, but nothing that you can wait while listening or watching this. I'll try to go to make it as simple as possible for the purpose of this podcast, and you will get the idea, right? So let's say the cost of acquiring a customer is $50, and that customer spends in the period of 6 months $150. So again, it costs you, let's say on ads or on whatever it costs, not only ads, to fulfill the customer, the product, etc. The cost to acquire a customer is $50, and then they spend in the course of 6 months 150. So that means that 150 divided 50 is 3. Again, LTV divided CAC is 3 in this case. That means that the CAC to LTV ratio for the 6 month period at least is 3. Is it too high or too low? Well, let me tell you something. If it's 1 or less, you're in trouble because it means that you break even in 6 months, and that's not good for a business, right? And if it's less, you're losing money. So that's even worse. But if it's greater than 1, it's good. How good or bad it is? Well, it depends on the cash flow too. If you're measuring the CAC to LTV ratio for a 3 month period, it's going to be different than for 6 month, 12 month, etc. Right? So you need to find yours. But the thing is, you need to start measuring it and say, oh, Brian said this in the episode. Let's take a look at ours. The problem is there's one caveat, right? Why many brands don't do this math is because they don't know what their CAC is, and even less what their LTV is. So the CAC, it's all costs. Is not let's say the CPA, the cost uh, per to acquire a customer on ads. Let's say the CAC involves all the costs to fulfill and to acquire that customer. So you acquire the customer, you spend, I don't know, $10 on the ads, you spend on, let's say, packaging product, blah, another $10. shipping, let's say you pay for shipping $3. I'm making it up, right? So you have all those costs included in that CAC. It's not only the amount you spend on ads, right? And the LTV, well, this is a classic. I actually use a tool called Lifetimely to try to understand many more aspects, not only the LTV, but it includes the LTV. It will tell you for different periods, the overall for products or for product types, your LTV, right? So on Shopify, you don't have that. So if you tell me you know your LTV really accurately, well, probably that's because you do something else other than looking at Shopify, right? So if you do have this information, and I strongly advise you do, you can calculate and track over time what it looks like for you, because it's not only enough to measure one period. You need to monitor more because of one key factor, cash flow, right? It's nice to have a 12-month CAC to LTV ratio that is super high, but what about cash flow? I mean, you spend money to acquire a customer in product, again, packaging, fulfillment, overhead, and many things, marketing, but then you need to recover that money to invest in acquire another customer. You cannot spend forever and wait 12 months, right? So it's important to measure what your short and mid and long term CAC to LTV ratio is to. And this is key, right? And take action. So let me see now the CAC payback period. So this is the thing. Um, how we can know when we will break even. I told you that let's say someone spends, you spend $50 to acquire a customer. And remember, I said that in the previous exercise, they spend 150 over time, over 6 months, right? So that would be a three ratio, let's say CAC to LTV ratio. That's fine. But how does that look like over time? So you first spend $50 to acquire them, and then they first spend only $30 on the first order. So again, you spent 50 on ads, on the products, on everything to acquire that customer, and they spent 30 on the first order. Are you in break even? No. You're behind for $20, right? That's for one customer. But they come back to buy again in the following month, let's say month 2, and buy something for $25. So they spent $30 in the first month, and now they are spending 25 in the second one. So that adds to $55. So if you spent $50 to acquire them and they spent 55, you are in you are above the break-even level by $5, right? Because you spent 50 to acquire them, and at the point of month 2, they spent 55. So month 2 will be your break-even month, right? So if somebody asks you what's your CAC payback period, it's typically 2 months if the average behavior looks like this, right? So I'll try to repeat in case you didn't understand, go back. But I know that sometimes, in depending on the platform you're listening or watching this to, is tougher to do it, especially if you're driving or working. So I'll repeat it again one more time. So if a customer spends, if you spend to acquire a customer $50, and the customer spends $30 on the first order and then 25 in a second order in month 2, you'll break even in month 2. So that's the CAC payback period. You need to take a look at your whole customer base for a certain period and analyze how long it takes for your brand to recover that money you invested. For many brands, it might be in the first order, but many others will struggle depending on the industry, on the price point, and many other things, and will need to recover that money in future orders. In which one? In which month? Well, you will need to do two things. One, be aware of the CAC to LTV ratio for different periods and be aware of the CAC payback period. And second, the most important thing, take action. If you see that the CAC payback period is, instead of 2, is 5 months, probably you will need to do something about it to decrease that time. And let's say try to get it in 3 instead of 5 months, right? So this is what you will need to do. Now, if you are thinking, Brian, how on earth can I come up with this data? How can I calculate that? Like, it's not something that I can put in a spreadsheet and do it. Yes, you're right. That's why we use a tool, the one I said earlier, Lifetimely. They have a beautiful report. And by the way, I'm not affiliated with them. I just use that tool and I love the information it gives me because Shopify doesn't. So basically, they will do that job for you. You won't need to do any math. And basically, you will take a look at the chart and they will draw some green lines in the month that you get your money back on. And they will say the CAC payback period is 0.8 month, 1.2 month, or whatever, but it will be way, way accurate for you. So I hope this was useful. It's a short break from all the awesome episodes we are recording with founders, CEOs, and CMOs. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you.
This episode was brought to you by BSR Digital. We help DTC brands grow through paid ads and email marketing campaigns. If you'd like us to help your business grow, head on over to bsrdigital.com and schedule a call with us.